That's always been the concern, right, with Dest. I actually think he's gotten much better defensively, especially
Yeah.
1v1, right? So, but anyway, he has that tag, right? And I think people still think that he's not great defensively. I get it. I understand. But if you put him in Musa's spot, you take a lot of that responsibility off his plate.
We put out a poll, and that was 4 players have yet to play for Pochettino. Who are you most excited to see back? Sergino Dest, Gio Reyna, Flaren Balogun, or Tyler Adams? And a whopping 48% said Sergino Dest. Now, I think when I'm looking at this, you look at how the U.S. has played as of late under Pochettino, and obviously the sample size is small, but if we look at these first 2 games with Jamaica, the last 2 games against Jamaica, which position could you argue do we need the most out of those players? And, you know, Tyler Adams for me is a must-have because he is such a difference maker. But Tanner Tessman was phenomenal, right? And Weston McKennie was phenomenal. And Christian Pulisic coming in the midfield was phenomenal. Even you could still throw in Anthony Robinson as a midfielder, right? So you're like, okay, maybe not the most important at this point, right? Balogun, yeah, he scored some goals. Big potential, but Ricardo Pepi scoring goals. So maybe not needed as much right now. So I'm not surprised there. Gio Reyna, he's been injured for a long time. And like I said, Christian is thriving. He's coming more central. Weston McKennie's playing high up the pitch. It doesn't seem like the striker's starving for support now, right? With this new way of playing with Pochettino. So right now it comes down to Joe Scally or Sergino Dest. That to me is the biggest gap, right? In the attacking phase of play.
Let me ask you, because we started this discussion in between the 2 games, but of course Dest is not here, so we got off of it. Where do you see if Pochettino is going to play exactly like this, right? And when I say exactly like this, I don't know if he's going to do that with Robinson, but I mean building out with 3 in the back.
Right.
What position do you see Sergino Dest playing in that formation? That's the first question.
Okay. I'll answer the first question. I see him doing exactly what Anthony Robinson did on the reverse side, right?
Which is what Musa's been doing.
No, as in Joe Scally could go wide, but also come inside, and Anthony Robinson tucks in and does the reverse of what Joe Scally does.
This is why I asked you this way.
It's the same. It's a mirror image from the left side to the right side.
You didn't answer the question. You changed the tactics. That's what I'm saying.
I'm not changing the tactics. I'm keeping it the same.
I said if Pochettino plays the same way, which is when they build out, he had Joe Scally, he had Mark McKenzie, and he had Tim Ream, and then Anthony Robinson was already up the field. Musa never played as a right back. He came and defended when he had to, but he was basically a right side, call him midfielder, like old school type of winger in that position ahead of the back.
I still think Dest can play exactly where Joe Scally played.
Okay, then that changes the role of Anthony Robinson.
Yes,
right?
it does.
And then now all of a sudden, I was thinking, for me, I'm thinking he fits better in Musa's spot, right?
But you could make the argument with a healthy Gio Reyna, that would be Gio Reyna's spot where he first came. If you remember in the first Nations League. That's where he was playing, right? He came inside as a right winger. He'd come inside and he'd play and he'd combine because he wasn't a right winger and he was never going to provide the width. He was always going to come inside, and that's naturally what he does. So that fit well with Sergino Dest. For someone who's not going to come inside, he's going to stay wide and use the touchline. So it works with Musa or Reyna in that regard, or Timothy Weah if he was playing on the right side. What I love about Sergino Dest, if he plays where Joe Scally is, and of course, he has to understand that as much as he is attacking and that's his strength, he has to be just as good defensively and understanding how to Dest
on Scally's spot you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah. See, this is why I asked you about the other spot, because if that's always been the concern, right? With Dest, I actually think he's gotten much better defensively, especially 1v1, right? So, but anyway, he has that tag, right? And I think people still think that he's not great defensively. I get it. I understand. But if you put him in Musa's spot, you take a lot of that responsibility off his plate. And then you allow him to do the one thing that we know he can do and the one thing he loves to do. And that's go dribble at players. There's a trick and a flick here and there. There's a give and go. There's a nutmeg. There's a flick over the top. Things that he doesn't have to worry about when he's playing so far back. I'm really interested to see. I think logically he will put him in Scally's spot. Like that's what I think he will do.
Could I throw something at you that maybe changes the way you think about Sergino Dest playing in that wide right, higher up the pitch role? What makes Sergino Dest so good at the right back attacking wing or right wing, right wing back spot, makes him so attackingly profound, is because when he's making those runs from the right side, it's usually from a deeper position, which forces the right winger to have to left winger to have to defend your left midfielder. And he's typically going up against someone who's not a defender naturally. And if it's the left back, that means they've lost our right winger who has found space. So it's better for him coming in from a deeper position to get into the attacking half, because that's when he's really effective, not when he's already up there, because the left back goes, oh, I'll eat this guy for lunch for the most part, because he has to wait for the ball to come to him. And all of a sudden, the left back is prepared to deal with him versus, oh, this guy's coming out of nowhere. The left back already has a right winger to deal with. Do I go wide? And those are the type of situations where he thrives. So that's why I'd rather have him play deeper defensively and then get up forward quick, because then you're unbalancing their back line.
No, I get it. No, I get it.
The flexibility, right? Because I love that we don't have to just rely on Anthony Robinson going down the left. Although we didn't in this last game, because Timothy Weah provided that with.
It was wild what we did. I still am amazed.
Can you imagine Dest and Musa, or Dest and Reina doing the same thing on the opposite side? So now you have two sides that can really hurt you. Two super talented sides. So now the middle becomes a little bit more open, because Christian Pulisic's going to have more space. Weston McKinney's going to have more space, because our outside attacking areas are just so dynamic. So that's why I think Dest might be best served to play in the right back role.
And I think a lot of it is helped if Tyler Adams is on the field. But what does he do with Tyler Adams like right now? Because there's certainly a trust in Tanner Tessman, right? I mean, hell, his comments after the game, I don't know exactly, but they asked him to they asked him about Tessman, and he talked about, what a great kid he is, and he works hard. And then he said, he basically asked himself a question, if you're going to ask me to rate him, what did he say? 8 or 9 and 8 or not? You know what I mean? Those are massive numbers when you think about it. Coach just doesn't spit that out. But if you have Tyler Adams in, you don't worry as much, because one thing Tyler does, as much ground as he covers, he really reads danger areas probably better than anyone. I'm trying to think of guys who read danger areas as good as Jermaine Jones did it for a while. When him and Michael Bradley were together is really good. Thomas Dooley back in the day when he came from the Bundesliga, that was his strength. Somehow the play's going on and a ball gets sprung, and here's Thomas Dooley stealing the ball at right back. You're like, well, who thought about going there? He's in number 6, you always that kind of player. That's who Tyler is. So it would help for sure.
He puts out those fires.
I'm interested to see, because there's something, when we all know managers are all different, right? And we're still learning Pochettino. We're learning that he doesn't change and rotate in camps all that much, right? He's not a big proponent of that. He may have built a trust in some players, and we're going to see it coming when we head over to SoFi. What is that, in March, right? We're going to see that around the 3rd week of March, and how he really feels about some of these guys.
I can't
wait to go, man. I can't wait to go.
I see John over here. Charlie planning on winning 7-5 in the comments. Hey, if we win 7-5, I'm cool with that. And then Scott Solari in the comments, Tyler Adams sucks at passing. No, he does not. Have you seen him play?
Where are you reading all this stuff? Where do you get all this? You gotta
look in the comments, man. The comments, the people, they speak.
All I got is Davies yelling at me and Dest telling us to go to break. That's all I got over here.
No, and then we have Dalton Harris. Charlie loves attacking. Let's put Haji at center back with Busio. Then we put Testament at goalkeeper. Come on, guys. We want to see attacking football, especially when you have two dynamic winger left and right backs. Bomb down the channels. Let's combine. Come
Here's
inside.
a
Let's
question.
go.
How about this? Do you
yeah.
want a national team that wins? What if you had only two choices? A national team that wins all the time 1-0, or a national team that wins all the time 4-3? What would you take?
4-3 all day.